over the last 1 to 2 years, Solana has reached massive highs and now massive lows. But have you ever thought, what drives the buying and selling behavior? Well, I've just created a 6-part series. Today is day number 1 on what drives market behavior, and it's really the psychology. But we're going to look at different increments of the whole thing so you can really have a good viewpoint of not only Solana, but every single cryptocurrency in your portfolio that follows these patterns time and time again. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. My name is Jagir. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro, featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on crypto. So let's dive into day 1 of market psychology. Right, so the main thing you want to know, and this is hard to get your head around at first, that the fundamentals in the news is irrelevant when you're looking at price behavior. With Solana, what we're looking at is the data from late or early 2021, and we've had this explosive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a massive A, B, C correction. And what you'll notice in all markets, in all time frames, that this pattern tends to repeat itself. And today what we're going to focus on is this part down here. What is the psychology at the beginning of wave 1, the bottom of the former trend? So let's just look at what this looked like at the time. So if we just zoom out like so, we're going to ignore all this amazing price movement to the upside. And if we just really zoom out where this arrow is pointing, this green box, if we get rid of this bullish behavior, what was it at ground zero? Well, it had just gone through a pretty big correction. It's probably better to see on coin market cap. I think I got it open over here with Solana. If I just zoom in over here, if I go way back, if it lets me even more, boom, this is what we're talking about. This here, this big correction that we went through with Solana. Hopefully that makes sense, right? This is ground zero. What we're going to look at today in a bit of detail is what is the psychology at this point? How is the crowd herd feeling? And the date is, I think it's the 23rd of December, 2020, right? So what's that? That's, 1.5 years ago, right? It's 18 months ago. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff today. So just so you know, Elliott Wave is the main focus right now. And Ralph Nelson Elliott figured out some amazing things about psychology and sociology that applies in human nature, but also in the stock markets, the forex markets, the commodity markets, and now cryptocurrency markets, is price and buying and selling behavior. So take my free Elliott Wave Masterclass to really get the most out of this 6-part series. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to dive into a couple of things that I really want to share with you. So it's crowd psychology. So what you want to first know is that the markets tend to move in an impulsive 5-wave sequence, and you'll see this time and time again. We saw it textbook with Solana. We've seen it with some of the other cryptos like BNB, like Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. And what tends to follow thereafter is a bigger correction of ABC. Right? And with Solana, what we're going to focus on is the bottom far left on the beginning. And this is the chart pattern that we just saw with Solana. So what's the reason? What's the reason, and how can we get some useful information out of this? So at the bottom, which is like the beginning of the wave 1 sequence, what tends to be the case, and it happens in different forms, but in extreme markets and extreme cases, on the largest degree, it's usually associated with extremely bad news, as in there'll be bad news about the crypto markets. Are they going to survive? Depression, warfare. We had COVID going on, recession, panic, limited war. And so it's a really negative environment, but on a lesser degree when we're kind of zooming in a bit more. And then you'll see these chart patterns reflected on multiple time frames. And on the minor degree is normally some type of bad news. So at a major bottom, which we saw in Solana at the end of 2020, is normally associated. And we saw this with all cryptocurrency, right? We saw it with most cryptocurrency before we saw that amazing bull run that we had for nearly 12 months. So this is the bottom. So what we're going to focus on in the next series of the next 5 parts, and it gets much more interesting, is the next part of the wave sequence. What's the next part? Well, it's going to be this whole wave 1, this whole initial first movement. What is it? Why does it happen? And why do we see it time and time again? And we saw it really, really cleanly with Solana, this 5-wave sequence. And those 5 waves within the 5 waves. And you want to be aware of this because we're not gonna cover it in too much depth, but there's a breakdown of waves within the waves. And if you want to learn more about it, I highly encourage you to take my Elliott Wave Masterclass and join me tomorrow where we look into in a bit more depth about wave 1, what it is, and what typically tends to unfold time and time again. So let's finish on a quote. Let's go with, I think I'm going to go with chapter 4 today. Chapter 4. We'll go with, in fact, chapter 3. It's Confucius. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Now, at first, Elliott waves can be a bit overwhelming, especially in sub-degrees of counts and there's, 5-wave structures and so on and so forth. But it's so valuable and it's all about just learning one step at a time and getting the concept. So when you're looking at charts, you'll get a feel for, are we in an impulsive bull trend or are we in a correction? Are we in a micro correction, which we're looking for long opportunities or short opportunities so we can make money on the way up and the way down. So like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Join me tomorrow for number 2 of the market psychology, where we're going to really talk about the rebound wave a bit more, wave 1. So I'll see you tomorrow for day number 2.